In this video, I'm going to show you how to mask up a room to get it ready to be spray painted using an airless sprayer. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about building your own house, saving a ton of money. So be sure to subscribe, ring that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and hammer that like button for me. That's all I ask in return for making this video. So I'm going to be using this 3M masker a lot today, so let me show you how to use it. Since this is a newly constructed house, I don't have to worry about the floor getting ruined with paint because it's just subfloor, and I don't have to worry about furniture being in the way either. So how I would tape up and mask this house is going to be much different than how you would mask up a house that's already lived in. So the only items I need, I only use 4 items for this. My hand masker, and I'll show you the details of this here in just a moment. Sandwich baggies, I'll get to that in just a bit. A utility knife, and this 3M Scotch blue tape. And how these all work is pretty simple, but let me show you that in just a moment. See, with newly constructed houses, you got open outlets and switch boxes like this. So how you prepare those for spraying is pretty simple. But first I'm going to show you how to do the windows using my handy dandy masker. So let's get started. I have tried several hand maskers in the past, and this M3000 made by 3M has definitely been the best one yet. And if you see here, you have a roll of plastic, or you can use paper, and how it works, it rolls out and the tape goes over the edge of the paper or plastic, and then it all comes out taped together for you, so you don't have to worry about doing it after the fact. It's real simple to use. And if you do get one of these, I'd highly recommend getting one that holds the paper or the plastic with this holder, because it makes it way more stable and it feels more solid when you use it. So it's pretty simple to use, but I'll show you how to tape up a window using this masker. In order to use this masker, all you gotta do is go ahead and pull yourself out a little bit of the masking and paper, place it about 1 inch away from the side of the window, and let the tape go just on the drywall about 1/2 inch. Pull it straight across the top of the window, and I like to go ahead and start sticking it to the wall as I go across. Once you get about 1 inch or so past the frame of this window, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it off and then tape it right to the top of the window like that. Then what I like to do is just go through and push on it and make sure it's a good seal onto the drywall around the window. And that is all there is to that. And as you can see, just about 1 inch past the frame. I just figured it's smart to just give you plenty of room there, because the paint doesn't have to be right up to the window. And then all you gotta do now is pull this plastic down. And these windows are 5-foot windows, but I went ahead and got the 6-foot long plastic, so that way there's plenty of room and I don't have to fight the bottom trying to make sure it's long enough to reach the bottom of the window. So just take this 3M plastic and fold it down over the window. And what I like to do is come down here to the bottom, and I'll take a little piece of painter's tape, the Scotch blue tape, and then I'll just tack the bottom corners. So that way I'm not trying to fight it as I tape along the sides of the window. So just pull it kind of snug, and then I'll place a little bit of tape there. And then I'll come to this side, do the same thing, give it a little tension, and then place a little piece of tape to hold it there. And now all I got to do is take the tape and run it down the sides of each side of that plastic to seal it along the edges. So like this. And then after I get the tape down the side, I take the roll of tape and I just seal it using the roll of tape like that. Do the same to this side. And then again, go through and seal it nice and tight there. So now at the bottom of the window, go ahead and just stretch your plastic out nice and flat. And then take your utility knife and just stay about 1 inch below the window or so. And go ahead and just cut that plastic off. This stuff's pretty thin, so it doesn't take much to cut it. And I always try to stay as straight as I can. And just so you're aware, this is going to get trim around the window, so I could be down clear 2 inches below it. It won't hurt anything. So it all depends on how you're trimming your windows out, is how far you should paint up to your window or not. And now I just take my tape and seal off the bottom of the plastic where the bottom of the window is. Now that this window is taped up, I don't have to worry about overspray getting on it while I'm spraying around it using my airless sprayer. And if you have not seen my video on how to prime new drywall, check out the video in the top right hand corner of the screen. It's going to show you the ins and outs to cleaning the drywall and getting it prepared for a PVA primer. All right, now we need to address the outlets and the switches, and I'm going to show you the easy way to do that. What I do to protect these wires from paint, since they are already stripped and already have them ready for the outlet, I don't want to get paint to get all over them. So all I got to do is take a sandwich baggie. This is just the Glad brand. It doesn't matter what brand you get, but just go ahead and place the baggie over the wires, and then I'll go ahead and fold them back into the outlet, or the outlet box, I should say. And then what I do is just take the painter's tape and just take off a little piece and tape over the holes that are for the screws to secure the electrical outlet down. And I do that to both screw holes. And that little bit of paint that gets in there probably isn't that big a deal, but I just like to make sure that I don't clog them up with paint. And that's all there is to preparing your outlets. So now let me show you what I do to the switches. This is a 2-gang box. It's for a fan and a light. So it's a little bigger than those little boxes. So what I like to do, I just take the leftover plastic from cutting around the window, and that's kind of folded up a little more neat than just rolled up. And then I just push it down into each corner of the box, right like so. And then after I do that, I do the same thing that I did to the little outlet boxes, is I'll take painter's tape and just tape along those screw holes, but this time I take a longer piece and I'll just go over both of them instead of just using a bunch of little pieces. It's a little quicker that way. So long story short, if you have wires that are already ready for switches and outlets, make sure you cover them up so they don't get paint all over them, or if they're labeled so you can tell what switch goes where, you don't want to mess that up with paint either. But that's all there is to covering up your switches. I have these 6-inch halo recessed light cans throughout my house, and up inside of these there is actually a cover over the light socket. So if you don't have this brand, you may want to double check to see if they do or don't. And if they don't, you definitely need to make sure paint does not get up into that hole. So these cans are prepped and ready to go out of the factory. So double check yours, because you do not want paint inside of those light bulb sockets. The room is now totally masked off and ready to be sprayed. When it comes to masking inside of a house, just use common sense. Just be sure to cover everything with plastic or paper that you don't want overspray to get on before you start spraying. And I just wanted to let you know that all of this masking that you just seen me do is just to prepare to have the ceiling sprayed. Then after the ceiling sprayed, I'm going to mask around the ceilings to prepare the walls to be sprayed next. And if you'd like to purchase this masker, I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you do make a purchase through my link, I get a little bit of a commission, but it's at no extra cost to you, and it helps support the channel, and I appreciate it. And if you're not familiar with my channel, my name's Josh, and I build houses from the ground up, and I try to make a video on how to do it as I go. So if you're interested in building your own house, you definitely want to subscribe. And ring that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video. And I got a lot of masking I gotta get done yet today, so I better get off here. So I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.